Xavier Brown heading back to JMU. It's Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, welcome back to another edition of Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. I'm your affable host, Dave Schultz. Thanks so much for tuning in and continuing to support the channel. Please subscribe if you already haven't, and like it on Facebook, and please share it on YouTube. Also like it there as well. All right, we're getting close to 1180, could be close to 1200 here. Coming up. All right, besides the transfer portal, something we haven't spoken about, the Ragin' Cajuns have this ridiculous streak going on for a decade, right? Like Oklahoma's amazing 71-game winning streak, which the Cajuns snapped, is awesome, right? Not to take anything away from that, but boy, the Cajuns have a 84 Sunbelt Series winning streak. That's like a decade long. That's ridiculous. All right, we'll also talk Sunbelt baseball, 5 matchups with a Power 5 team. So that could be a lot of fun, maybe helping out some RPIs around the Sunbelt. But let's start out with, how about Xavier Brown returning to JMU? Preston Spradlin gets his first recruit, gets his point guard back. That's big news. That's a good job of getting in there and signing that contract and seeing if you can get somebody to stay, right? He's still on campus, still finishing up school. And so, that's a good job by the new coach, who we did reach out to. We got to give him a minute to get settled a little bit. Rumors that I'll start and perpetuate. There may be a Mike Jones sighting from ODU on this podcast soon. And there may be a Gunnar Leger, the Ragin' Cajuns pitching coach, on this podcast soon. I will start those rumors and perpetuate them, so stay tuned for that. But a good job by the new coach, Spradlin, to get Xavier Brown to come back. One of his teammates, I missed it. I did notice it because I went over to our buddy Jeremy. Where are we here? All right, got to move back. Jeremy Harper. I'm sorry. I messed that up all the time. That's my bad. Jeremy Harper's website, Howlraiser. He's doing a good job of keeping track of the transfer portal. And I didn't realize that Jalen Carey over the weekend, maybe even on Friday, had committed to Vanderbilt, which is no surprise, right? We thought that's where those 3 guys were going to end up. Xavier Brown, Terrence Edwards, and Jalen Carey, and one has gone. Edwards probably going through the NBA draft process, see if he would be a late first round, early second round pick, and also see what he needs to work on. So he may end up at Vanderbilt later on as well. Other guys, I still think Joe Charles is going to come back to the Cajuns. I'm not necessarily all of that convinced in Kobe Julian. We'll see. All right. I think Joe Charles kind of dipped his toe to see what's out there. Maybe Kobe Julian did the same thing. In fact, of everybody, according to Jeremy Harper, only Jalen Carey and Etienne Struthers out of App State, he transferred to Hampton. So a lot of guys have not picked their spots just yet. We'll see if any of these guys are starting to return back to their schools, because I presume that they're looking for a little NIL money. And maybe Jalen Carey got some. And all due respect to JMU, which I'm sure is a fine institution, I mean, despite not a whole lot of winning going on outside of baseball, Vanderbilt's a really good school. So that's a really good place to have a degree from. So that seems like Jalen Carey improved that situation. Again, I have no idea about James Madison. I do know about Vanderbilt. But our Trayvon Spillers, we've been over this. Is Trayvon Spillers and Justin Appleton going to get any money? Are they leaving for money? Do they think that's what it's going to be? I think a lot of group of 5 guys, and maybe Xavier Brown, found that out. It's okay to check, but then go back to where maybe you are more appreciated and more known, and maybe take it's a new era at JMU, and start something new, right? Where you're the leader, right? Where you kind of followed, the Bickerstaffs and the Edwards and the Friedel's, and now you step up, and you may not be the prolific scorer that they are, or you might be, but you can kind of lead the program and help out the new coach a little bit, like Caleb Fields did with Brian Hodgson at Arkansas State. So I think that could be a very good comparison, because if you buy in, obviously it's going to be tough to repeat. No one's going to think that you're repeating 31 wins, but there's no reason that transfer portal and whatever the case may be, that JMU cannot compete again for the Sun Belt title and an NCAA berth. 31 wins may be a little bit much. Let's see if anybody else. I haven't heard of anybody else returning just yet. We'll see what Texas State does, because you got a lot of points there. Davian Sykes, 11 points, 7 rebounds. Brandon Love, 10 points, 5.5 rebounds. Jordan Mason, 13 points. Are those guys going to take off, or are they just dipping their toes in the water as well to see maybe I can go get some NIL money? And I would probably believe that the NIL money for some of these guys is not nearly what they think it is. I'll rephrase that. They're well aware of what it could be, right? And none of these guys are thinking they're getting 7-figure deals, and they may not be getting 6-figure deals. But again, if you put a little money, if you get a little bit of money, and I'm talking anywhere from $10,000 to $25,000, again, that's why that whole, I guess it worked out with Jordan McLeod at Texas State, but that's why that whole QB thing was so odd, and the timing was thrown off by everybody. But you can get TJ Finley $30,000 to $40,000 to $50,000. And he's in San Marcos forever, raising his family there. And so maybe you can find just a little bit of money. You're just looking for a little bit, and that's what I mean by a little bit. It's also 5 figures, because then that's 22 or 23-year-old kid putting 10 figures or 10 grand in the bank, just invite and put it away, and maybe you come out of school and buy a car or something like that, but you put that away if you have a job. If you're not playing basketball, all of a sudden maybe you're getting a nicer apartment than you thought you could have. So there's easier things to do, and because I don't think a lot of these guys are getting the money that they thought they were going to get, but I think they're well aware of the kind of money that's out there. And we'll see if I don't know if any of these things have gone public, right? And again, I'm the last guy to know if anybody, how much you're getting, unless you're doing a TV commercial. I spend my day on Twitter, but I don't really spend it on Instagram or TikTok, if that's where all this money is going. So I don't know how much these guys are getting, but we will keep you up to date. Again, Xavier Brown, point guard, returning to JMU to play under Preston Spradlin. All right, let's take a timeout. Let's talk about this Ragin' Cajun softball team. They've won 84 straight Sun Belt series, and this week is coming up. They're hosting JMU. I believe it is alumni weekend. Let me tell you about LinkedIn. All right, we've been off this whole episode. It is what it is. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find your quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. LinkedIn has a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which makes it the best place to hire. It gives you access to professionals you can't find anywhere else. LinkedIn does all of that while making the process easy and intuitive. Hiring is easy when you have that many quality candidates. So easy, in fact, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. LinkedIn is constantly finding ways to make the process easier. They even just launched a feature that helps you write job descriptions, making the process even easier and quicker. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. It does not get a whole lot of national attention. I'm not even sure it gets the attention here in Lafayette as much as it should. But this streak that the Ragin Cajun softball team has, that I guess started in 2014, maybe 2013. And then I got here in 2013, but I didn't see softball until 2014. So this thing's been going on for over a decade. And I don't think enough is made out of it. I think we heard about Oklahoma stretching there, and maybe that's the difference between the Sun Belt and, multinational champion on a regular basis. But I mean, the girls they win this all the time. And there's been only maybe a handful of series where they've lost the first ball game. That's when they sort of tighten up. Not when they lose the second ball game, but when they lose the first ball game of a series, which doesn't happen very often. And it just doesn't. And I think people around here probably take it for granted that they're going to win the Sun Belt Championship. Last year they hosted it. South Alabama got off to a good start, went into South Alabama, swept them. Texas State is coming in a couple of weeks. We'll see how that goes. Went to App State, swept them. They're coming into JMU's coming in this weekend, and they're going to, again, some of these girls that I saw play, it'll be nice to catch up with them. But I just don't think we make enough of it because it's really impressive. This is one of those records that's never going to be broken. All right. Again, it goes back to, I believe, 2013. Let me see if I can find it quickly. I don't think they have it up there for a lot of it. Let me see. And they just keep on churning out series wins. They don't have to win the Sun Belt Conference Championship, tournament every year. They don't do that, although a lot of times it feels like they do. Let me see if I can find a game recap when this Ragin Carries collect series victory in Boone. Let me see if it says dating back to March of 2013. Goodness. March of 2013, I was still in Key Largo. That's a lot. That's a lifetime ago. So it started in March of 2013. And I think it should absolutely get more publicity nationally. Maybe we can hit up like Amanda Scarborough and some other, national softball broadcasters to make them aware, because you do have some other teams, Troy's, Texas State, South Alabama, right? These teams are pretty good. Marshall was good last year. I think they had the player of the year last year. And so I don't think the Cajuns get enough credit for churning out. I mean, that's not a bad weekend, right? I mean, I don't think this game's going to end the way the score is indicating it might, but right now, and it's one game, and it's a midweek game, so it's different. But LSU's losing to Southern. You can't have one bad weekend for over a decade. That, we talked about, the Cajuns, winning streak where they can't really afford to lose a ball game over the next 2 weeks, which is not fair. That's not the way baseball is. Because, again, a call is going to go against you. A bounce is going to go against you. You're going to drop a pop-up that you usually catch. Whatever the case is, that's sports, and that's baseball and softball. And yet they haven't had a bad weekend for more than a decade. That's insane. I think more should be made out of that. Did I do it right? Cajun softball 84 Sunbelt Series streak. Yeah, that's not right. Cajun softball Sunbelt Series streak is 84. All right, close enough. So we'll see. I mean, someone's going to do it somewhere along the way. I don't know if it's going to be anytime soon, but JMU is going to have their shot to do it. It should be a big crowd because ULM's coming down for baseball, and maybe that'll draw, but the alumni are coming in for softball. So we'll see. Been disappointed in the Cajuns baseball attendance so far. We'll see what Nichols draws on Tuesday. But nonetheless, you'll probably have, 5,000 or 6,000 combined for baseball and softball, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We may not be, we may miss Friday and Saturday's ball game. We may have I think I mentioned this in yesterday's episode, a bourbon adventure Friday and Saturday. So we'll see if we're going to do that. All right. Let's take a time out. When we come back, we'll preview tonight's baseball action. 5 Power 5 matchups with teams in the Sun Belt. Some are some really nice rivalry games. So that will be a lot of fun. Let me tell you about eBay Motors and Lafayette Travel. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit. Only available for U.S. customers. And Lafayette Travel. Escape to Lafayette, Louisiana, the happiest city in America, where every visit is uniquely seasoned with unforgettable experiences. Savor world-class cuisine, including mouth-watering boudin, savory gumbo, and piping hot crawfish, seasoned to perfection. Experience lively festivals that celebrate Lafayette's one-of-a-kind heritage. Explore magnificent trails that lead you through our rich cultural history and breathtaking natural beauty. Discover the untouched purity of our cypress and tupelo swamps. We can paddle past nesting birds and sunbathing alligators. Immerse yourself in the vibrant rhythms of Cajun and Zydeco music that can be heard any night of the week. Whether your passion is for our rich cultural history, the bustling culinary scene, or the distinctive blend of Cajun and Zydeco music, the happiest city in America has something for everyone. Start planning your adventure at LafayetteTravel.com/seasoned. Debating whether to run the Festival International, I believe on that Saturday morning, last weekend in April, has a 5K. Debating whether to get into that or not. I really haven't trained for it, but I've been doing Orange Theory a lot, so I should be able to handle 3.1 miles. I don't know if I'll break 30, but I could do 3.1 miles. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Got a full slate, I believe, of baseball games tonight. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm not going to figure out who's playing or who's not playing. All right. But 13 of the teams are playing. I guess we could look. Is it ULM? Is that the easy one to do? Yes, because we're looking who's playing on the next day. Okay. So, in fact, he got a Power 5 matchup on Wednesday as well. So Georgia State is playing Georgia in Athens. That's awesome. Great opportunity for Georgia State. Right, they're off to a great start in the Sun Belt. Did not play particularly well before that, but they are 7-2, one game behind the Cajuns. All right, Old Dominion is at Virginia. All right, that's in Charlottesville. Marshall is hosting Vatek. Marshall's struggling a little bit. They will take on the Cajuns in 2 weeks, I think. Is that right? Yeah, in 2 weeks. All right. And you do have, let's see here, the other Power 5 matchups. Arkansas State taking on Arkansas. It's like the number 1 team in the country. And Arkansas coming off a sweep of the LSU Tigers. And you do have A&M is going to San Marcos to take on Texas State. So that is awesome. They were talking a lot of that on during the broadcast and how much they're looking forward to that. And then I think they have a home and home with the Longhorns the following week. So that's certainly going to help recent and future Bobcats opponents because I think you get a little bit because they're right there. Strength of schedule improves. So that means your strength of schedule, your opponent's strength of schedule improves. So that'll be big. All right. The other games on Tuesday tonight, Georgia Southern is at College of Charleston. High Point is at App State. So App State hosting High Point. Coastal Carolina at UNC Wilmington. They have already postponed James Madison at Radford. Bad weather, apparently, heading that way. Troy is on the road at Alabama State. That's in Montgomery, so that's not that far, just down the road a little bit. Same for Nichols coming up from Thibodeau to take on the Cajuns. Southern Miss is at Southeastern. And South Alabama is heading over this way. They are taking on New Orleans. On Wednesday, Georgia Southern is at South Carolina. Pretty good. ULM's at Northwestern State, and Troy is at Jacksonville State. They did fix the standings. Again, if you were watching and paying attention to Locked On Sunbelt, you would have known that ULM took down Coastal Carolina in the first game of that series. So Coastal, their record is correct now at 5-4. Cajuns 8-1, Georgia State 7-2, Southern Miss 6-3. Coastal, App, and Georgia Southern all at 5-4. Troy, Old Dominion, Texas State 4-5, and then the rest are 3-6. Only Marshall has a losing record. They're 9-18. ULM is 14-14. Arkansas State 16-14. South Alabama, James Madison 16-12. Even Texas State, well, they got swept, so they went from 15-10 to 15-13. ODU is 15-12. Some of these records are struggling a little bit. Georgia Southern starting to play a little bit better, but they're still 14-13 and 5-4 in the conference. App State 17-8. Coastal Carolina 20-7. Southern Miss 18-10. As we mentioned, Georgia State kind of a little bit like Arkansas State, where they did much better in the conference. Overall, they're 15-12, but 7-2 in the conference. And the Cajuns 8-1 in the conference and 20-8 overall. We will have a recap of the ball games from Tuesday for Wednesday's edition, we think. Again, rumors have it that new ODU head coach Mike Jones will be joining us this week, so stay tuned for that. And rumors have it Gunnar Leger, the Ragin Cajuns pitching coach, will hop on as well. I am starting those rumors and perpetuating those rumors. So we'll see if those rumors turn out to be true. I tend not to bluff, but at the same time, I don't hold it against him if something comes up. You know, Mike Jones is just getting into the groove. He's had a few more weeks than Preston Spradlin, who hasn't had a week yet. So we hope to have him as well. We do need to reach out to Marshall to get Cornelius Jackson on and hoping for Del McGee once Georgia State's spring football is done. And we probably need to check in with Mike Desimo and the rest of the Sunbelt, coaches. Because I think if I don't put in my request now, like these guys are going to skedaddle right after spring ball, like a little bit of recruiting and a little vacation time, right? They got it, they got to settle down, right? They got to take a breath is what I'm trying to say. All right. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in to Locked On Sunbelt. I'm your host, Dave Schultz. Have a great Tuesday, everybody, and we'll talk to you again on Wednesday. Once again, it's been Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day,